RTO here. Hope everyone is well. We've reached Friday again. It comes around very quickly these days. So Friday always means some live album ranking, and today we are doing one of my favourite bands again. We did an album ranking a few months ago, well, ages ago. We looked at their latest album, so I thought we need to look at their live albums because they are terrific. We're talking about Nazareth, of course, Scottish rock band, big through the 70s. They're still going now, as we know. They're really good. I actually saw them, back in 1984 at the Milton Keynes Bowl. They were on the same bill as Status Quo and on their End of the Road tour. It was my very first day concert, outdoor gig as well. I saw three of my favourite bands in one day: Status Quo, Marillion and Nazareth. Not a bad start, was it? There was someone else we can't mention now, and a band called Jason and the Scorchers. So when I saw them, it was Dan McCaffrey, Manny Charlton, Pete Agnew and Daryl Sweet. So I saw that great lineup. Really good show. And they have released 8 live albums. So, coming in at number 8, it was an album released in 2003 called Alive and Kicking. Basically, this is an edited down version of a previous release that we'll talk about very shortly. So on here we've got Pete Agnew, Dan McCafferty, Jimmy Morrison, Lee Agnew, which is Pete Agnew's sons, on drums, and Ronnie Lehigh on keyboards. Now, on this album we've got When the Lights Come Down, good track, Snaz, can't go wrong with that one, Miss Misery, Broken Down Angel, Love Hurts, Whiskey Drinking Woman, Bad Bad Boy, brilliant track, My White Bicycle and Beggar's Day. I don't own this album because I own the other one. So, but I did find it on, I think it was on YouTube. So I had a quick listen to it. All it is the editing's a little bit naff on this, to be quite honest. But the tracks are great, of course. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. So coming in at number 7 is an album released in 2002, and it's the full version of Alive and Kicking, and it was called Homecoming. So it's the same lineup of Pete Agnew, Dan McCaffrey, Jimmy Morrison, Lee Agnew and Ronnie Lehigh. So this is the full version. So you get When the Lights Come Down, Snaz, Miss Misery, which incorporated Please Don't Judas Me, which is a pretty cool track, Holiday Dream On, Simple Solution, which is brilliant, My White Bicycle, Walk Voice, Bad Bad Boy, Hearts Grown Cold, Broken Down Angel, Whiskey Drinking Women, Hair of the Dog, This Flight Tonight, Beggar's Day and Love Hurts. It's a pretty good album, but there is a but on this one. Those classic sounding albums do not sound right with the keyboards on some of the tracks. I mean, Dan sounds brilliant on this. That real gravelly voice, which we've all come to love, but the keyboards sort of, it just didn't do anything for me. And this is recorded in Glasgow in 2001, so it's quite a modern album. But yeah, it's still a good listen. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 6, this is an album released in 2007, live in Brazil, and it was done during their South American tour of that year. So we got Dan McCafferty on vocals, Pete Agnew on the bass, Jeremy Morrison on the guitar, and Lee Agnew on the drums. And this opens up with Night Woman, really good track. Snaz is here, of course. I Don't Want to Do Everything For You, Alcatraz, classic. Dream On, Danger Danger, great track. My White Bicycle, Holiday. Love Leads to Madness, really good track that is. Lost and Love, Telegram Leader. The Rowan Tree, Tell Me That You Love Me, This Flight Tonight. Hair of the Dog, Love Hurts, Morning Dew, Broken Down Angel, and Long Black Veil. A great set. Again, Dan on fire. It's just a solid Nazareth live album. It's just a great album. I love Nazareth live albums because there's so much rawness and edge to them, and I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming in at number 5, released in 2004, and it's the River Sessions Live 1981, again recorded in Scotland. On here we've got Dan McCrafferty, Manny Charlton, Pete Agnew, Daryl Sweet. This is the lineup I saw. We've got extra people on here. We've got Billy Rankin on guitar and John Locke on keyboards. This one opens up with Big Boy, great track. Hair of the Dark, Expect No Mercy, brilliant version of that. Shape of Things to Come, pretty good. Love Hurts, and they do a great version of Tush. Telegram, Belter, Razamanaz, Do Everything. Holy Day, Hearts Grown Cold, Cocaine, do a great cover version of that. Let Me Be Your Leader is brilliant. Dress to Kill and Pop the Silo, quality. Yes, another good album. Also, the only criticism I've got of this one is the actual recording of it. Some of it's a little bit dodgy in places, but it doesn't take away the greatness of the album. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay, then coming at number 4. This is a live album that came out as one of these BBC Radio 1 things, and it was recorded at the BBC Paris Theatre in 1972. So it features that classic lineup of Pete Agnew, Manny Charlton, Dan McCafferty, and Daryl Sweet. We've got Morning Dew on here, Alcatraz, Vigilante Man, Razamanaz, Night Woman, Broken Down Angel, Country Girl, Woke Up This Morning, which is absolutely brilliant on this, Call Her Name, Blackhearted Woman. Okay, it's very short, it's not a full concert, but to hear that at their peak, it is a brilliant little album, and I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 3, we've got another BBC thing, Live at the Beeb. This is a double album released in 1998. It's concerts, probably some of the stuff from the Radio 1, and that was recorded in 72, and we got some stuff recorded in 1975. Just a moment, my eye is watering again, so oh dear. I am really having problems with this eye today, or this week. So the band here is that classic lineup of Pete, Manny, Dan and Daryl. This opens up with Call Her Name, Fall About You, brilliant that is. Hard Loving, great stuff. Going Down, Razamanaz, great version of that. Broken Down Angel, Night Woman, Too Bad, Too Sad, cracker. Turn On Your Receiver, these are all classic tracks. Bad Bad Boy and The Shape of Things, Dear John, Morning Dew, Vigilante Man, Paper Sun, Woke Up This Morning, Love Hurts, Expect No Mercy, a brilliant version of This Flight Tonight, Drinking Woman, Hair of a Dog Together, Teenage Nervous Breakdown, and Frank Zappa's Road Ladies. Great album. Again, got some of that classic from their heyday. I think this is when they were really at their peak, and I love this album, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay, then coming at number 2 is It Snazz, and it was released in late 1981. Now, this is It Snazz. The full album title is It Snazz, but because how it is on the cover, as you can see, the rest of it's around the other side, so it got just called It Snazz for some reason. I don't know. Never mind, but it's still a good album. On here we have got Dan McCafferty, Manny Charlton, Billy Rankin, John Locke and Pete Agnew and Daryl Sweet. We've got Telegram, On Your Way, So Wouldn't Be Back in Rock and Roll Star. Razamanaz, I Want to Do Everything, which is of course a Joe Tex song. Then we get This Flight Tonight, again Joni Mitchell song. Beggar's Day, which is a Grin cover. Every Young Man's Dream. Hearts Grown Cold, Java Blues of Branco. Rick Danko cover. Cocaine, J.J. Cale, Eric Clapton. Big Boy, Holiday, Dress to Kill, which is brilliant on here. Hair of the Dog, classic. Expect No Mercy. Shape of Things, Let Me Be Your Leader, Love Hurts, Tush. And then we get a studio track, Juicy Lucy, which is pretty good. Great sound in there. Dan's on fire. This is an absolute belter of an album. Some good covers on here. They did some good covers. Sometimes that keyboard sort of is in the wrong place, but it doesn't going to spoil this one. And I'll give this one an RTO ranking of 8.8. So my number one favourite Nazareth live album. It was released in 2001 and it's called Back to the Trenches. It's 31 live tracks taken from the soundboards of 6 concerts between 1972 and 1984. So some of these are from the period I saw them. On here we've got Dan, Manny, Billy Rankin, we've got Zal Clemenson doing some guitar, Pete Agnew, John Locke and Daryl Sweet. The way it's split up, tracks 1 to 10 are from the Paris Theatre in 1972, and then tracks 11 to 14 are from the Hammersmith Odeon. That's on disc 1. So we've got Morning Dew, Alcatraz, Vigilante Man, Razamanaz, Night Woman, Broken Down Angel, Country Girl, Woke Up This Morning, Call Her Name, Blackhearted Woman, Talking to One of the Boys, Broken Down Angel, Hearts Grown Cold and Showdown at the Border. On disc 2, these tracks, first 4 are taken from the Glasgow Apollo in 1981. Tracks 5 to 11 are at Fort Pierce in America. Tracks 12 to 14 in Vancouver, and tracks 15 to 17 Slough 1984. On here we've got Hair of the Dog, Expect No Mercy, Love Hurts, Shape of Things, Boys in the Band, Beggar's Day, This Flight Tonight, Love Leads to Madness, Gate Crash, Preservation, Back to the Trenches, All Night Radio, Razamanaz, Whipping Boy, a great version of Ruby Tuesday, Telegram, and this month's Messiah. This is a great album. It's got some just classic tracks and it goes through a long period. I think this is one of the great collections of Nazareth Live and I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay, that's all for this one. Don't know how I got through this because my eye under these glasses is just full of water and I can just about see what I'm reading. So I'm going to go and clean up the eye and then come back for a brand new album ranking from Alanis Morissette. So join me for that. Bye for now.